Okay, turn it off. Now for our final full-time position, your candidates for president. Please come to the stage. I would now like to give each candidate 2 minutes to address the audience. Can you introduce yourself and tell us why students should vote for you?
Hi everyone, I'm Suntosh, or Sunny, and I'm going for SU President. The reason why I want to go for this position is that I feel that I'm the best candidate. Best candidate for this position. I've been at UCLan for over 5 years, and I'm currently doing my Masters, but I've got experience of working with students. I've been a course rep, a school president, I was elected as the education officer, and I'm currently the BAME rep, so I'm getting really nervous now. And I just feel that I've got the experience where I can actually go out and support students and actually make those changes that students need to actually have a better experience at UCLan. Thank you.
Hello. Right, so for those that you don't know me, which will be a fair few of you, I'm Mike Flanagan, and naturally I'm going for the role of SU President next year. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why should I vote for this guy? Well, there's a couple of reasons. I look a little bit like a rock star. I'm not going to say who. I've got good stories about cleaning up celebrity vomit. For legal reasons, I'm not going to say that live on stage. But I also came third in a lap dancing competition as well, so play your cards right. But on the serious note, the biggest reason why you should vote for me is because I give a damn. When I came to UCLan, my goal was come in, get the degree, get out. I wasn't really interested in making friends because I was a bitter old man, and I still am a little bit. But I was very fortunate 2 years ago that I got a prod from a student to go for President of Humanities and Social Sciences. And from that very fortunate prod from that friend, I've managed to make so many connections with so many students, and I've managed to achieve so much. And not to sound too cheesy, I'm actually inspired every day from all the students I meet. It's amazing how many different students from different walks of life just achieve so many things. I'm often left in awe. And with all the inspiration I've received and the pushes I've got from the student community, if you elect me as student president, I want to give back everything I've received and more. I want to put the students back into the union, because the union is not a building, it's not a place on campus, it's a movement and it's a community where we all belong and we should all feel welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. Start with you, Mike.
Thank you.
What do you think are the key skills needed to be an effective president, and what experience do you have that makes you a good candidate?
There are a lot of skills that can make a good SU president. The obvious ones are confidence. If I speak to any of my friends, I will do most things sober and anything drunk. But I believe empathy. Empathy is probably one of the main skills for any of the full-time roles. You need to be able to make those connections, actually listen to students. It does upset me when I hear from some students who don't feel invited or welcome into the union, and that is a big shame. I want to make sure that all students feel part of the community, welcomed into the Students' Union. So I'll go for a very transparent role, very impartial. I'm not going to be pushing my own agenda, and I just want students to feel empowered.
Thank you.
I believe for myself, I think that in terms of a school, in terms of a SU president, there's so many skills that you can have, but I think the biggest thing is actually willing to work with students, with the university and the union, but at the same time standing up for those students as well. So if the union or the university are not doing something right, you need somebody who can actually stand up and not be afraid and actually make those changes on behalf of students. I believe that I've got the experience. Obviously, like I said, I've been here for 5 years. I don't want to repeat what I've just said, but I just want to explain that I'm the type of person that if I look back at my experience as education officer, what did I enjoy the most? It was when I was actually with students, taking time out, speaking to them. And I think a lot of people get cut off. A lot of people actually start thinking about the SU, but they think about the SU within the building. And for me, within my manifesto, I want to take the SU back to the students. I want the union to become great again, where we actually put students first. So when we talk to students, we're listening to them firsthand, what the issues are. And I don't want to have the situation where students have to come to us to tell us about their needs. I want us as officers to be going out. I want the SU staff to be going out, creating more events, not just within the SU building, but just more outside. So on campus, different buildings, actually raising that awareness so students know that they can come to the SU, that we can work with them and deal with any issues that they may have. At the same time, have fun as well. You know, university is a really stressful time, and it's just building those connections, especially with sports societies, letting students know that they can get involved and engaged. And I think, like you've mentioned before, in terms of listening, that's the biggest thing for me, is listening to our students, working with them and improving on their experiences.
Thank you. Questions from the audience? For the last few years, there's been a lot of toxicity in the SU. What do you do to address this atmosphere?
Okay, just give me a moment. So yeah, I think there is a lot of toxicity in the SU, and I think that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. Like Mike said previously, I don't want to come to, if I'm elected as SU President, I don't want to come here with my own agenda. I want to support all students. And I think that's something that we need to recognise, that all students deserve that opportunity, and we shouldn't be singling out any specific groups. We should represent and support everyone. And in terms of toxicity within the union or within the university, I think we just need to be open and honest. We need to be having those conversations, engaging with students and engaging with each other as well, and actually calling each other up. So if someone actually says something or does something which is inappropriate or is classed as a hate crime, we should be highlighting it, we should be raising it and actually dealing with it. So when has the SU, if we start taking action, we'll be setting an example to say this is not acceptable, whether it's officer, whether it's a member of staff, whether it's a student, or whether it's in the university or union. We have to stand up together and say we have to respect each other. It comes back to the yes to respect. We have to respect each other. We have to work together. Thank you.
Toxicity is a big issue anyway. The manifesto I put forward is based on feedback I've received from students across campus. It's a shame when it occurs, and it should never occur, because the Students' Union is about empowering students, not attacking them. So I've made a pledge in my manifesto to put forward a charter involving students, involving staff, involving the university, to make sure that whenever it occurs, it is snuffed out immediately, and it is never, ever allowed the room to breed. But on that same note, I've also put forward another policy in the manifesto to protect free speech. Now, when I say free speech, I'm not saying freedom to say hateful or hurtful things. It's not a fine line, it's quite a clear line, in my view, between saying things that might be controversial, that people could disagree with, and just outright using it as an excuse to attack people. So, we need to come together to tackle toxicity as a community. We also need to make sure we don't silence those we disagree with.
Thank you. How do you ensure all students are represented in the SU when they don't engage?
The SU is a brilliant community, but if you look at the statistics, it could be better. And I find that a personal shame, because I could rhyme off so many staff members who do such fantastic jobs, but students just don't know about it. Now, maybe it's a PR problem, maybe it's just a problem in how we operate, but more needs to be done in order to encourage students I don't believe in badgering students to get involved because people have different priorities. But another policy, which I've listened to students and I've put together, is to put forward a Get Out campaign, our union on tour. Because not every student can get to this building. I've met third years who've never even passed through the Students' Union building before. We need to make sure we aren't restricting ourselves by being solely based in here, that we go around to each building, to each school, and be there readily available and well signposted as well. It's no good being hidden in a corner, but to actually actively engaging students and make them feel involved. If you'd like more information, go on Facebook, look for Mike Flanagan, #1 for SU President, and I've got loads more policies like that. Thank you.
Thank you. How do you ensure all students are represented in the SU when they don't engage?
Yeah, I think it's the same, obviously, what Mike said, is that in terms of engagement, it is quite low in comparison to how many students we have on campus. So that's something that we definitely need to work on. A lot of students don't engage with the SU, and rightly so, in terms of, you know, whether they've got time, whether they've got work commitments, childcare commitments, or if they just don't, if they're not interested. But for that reason, it may be a case where they don't actually know what's available. So that's something that we need to build out awareness, and that's actually in my manifesto, where we actually take the SU to the students, we actually talk to students, build out awareness, not just talking and giving information about advice and representation, also about having fun, so more pop-up shops around campus, you know, from like popcorn or candy floss, for more sports activities, raising awareness with sports and societies, is actually just engaging students, letting them know that we can have fun, we can enjoy ourselves, we can work with each other, build connections, build friends as well. Just lost my train of thought. Representation isn't. Yeah. So yeah. Mine's gone blank now. So I think for me, it's the biggest thing is building those connections, not just from an office perspective. Is yes, for me, it's in my manifesto. Is I pledge to actually go out, speak to students, engage with students, to go to them rather than them coming to us. But it's also empowering other representatives, other officers to actually go there as well, empowering them to actually connect with students. We've got a fantastic council, we've got fantastic council members, and hopefully with the next set of council members that we have, encouraging them to go out and speak to their students as well. The more students we speak to, the more connections we make, and the more we have with students.
Thank you. That's all the questions for presidents. Give them a big round of applause.